want you to think about is there's buckets then that we need to grow through to really not get stuck, not get stagnant or caught up or distracted, that helps us grow to our potential. And today that bucket is the power of 2020 vision. It's a big bucket. So I realized that I'm probably talking to three types of people today. The first person, like, dude, you're on fire. Like, you're burning up. You are so hungry and passionate about moving forward, growing, making an impact, and you just need some gasoline today to say, great, pour that on. I know which way to go and which way to head. And then the second group, you're probably like that flickering flame, that there's moments and seasons where you're like, I'm on fire, I see my purpose, I see my vision, like I'm headed towards it, like things are clear, and you're chasing it. And then there's moments where you're just kind of like, oh man, like this sucks. Like adversity hit, man, I just need a break. I'm just kind of like in the land of comfort is good. Like if I just keep up with Sally and Sue and the Joneses next door, that's good enough. And you just need some more oxygen. You just need some oxygen breathed on you that said, no, growth time is there. Growth time will move you forward to your best life and your best potential. And then there's a third group, right? You're probably flamed out. And we get that sometimes in life. You're anxious, you're frustrated, you're fighting life, you're fighting others, you're escaping into different concepts and thoughts and actions that aren't really helping you. You're just like, man, you're in that rut. And you just need a spark. So I'm hoping today that this spark may be it for you, that getting clarity on the power of vision and how it moves you forward may just be that part, might just be that connection, that lifeline. So vision, what a big concept. How we need vision, how we need increasing vision, how we need to see a clear path, a path that moves us forward, where to walk, where to go. We don't like to stumble in life. We don't like to get tripped up. We don't like to get taken out by waves of adversity. So we need such vision that our steps are clear. We know where to grow and how to move forward. There's a great proverb that says, without vision, people are not restrained. And what a cool proverb, because how true is it? Can you think about the times in your life when you move forward with passion, when you move forward with purpose, you had vision and things didn't distract you as much. Like you didn't get hung up on the small things. Like if someone threw you a curveball, you hit it. Like you just kept moving forward. It kept you focused. And that's what vision does. It keeps you centered, focused. It keeps you restrained so that you are held together and moving forward. And then you have the opposite, right? If you don't have vision, you know what that leads you down. Frustration, like stress, anxiety, like tension points, like every little person that picks out you or frustrates you, you just want to throw underneath the bus. And you just don't have that space to be channeled forward. And then you look at leadership. If you don't have vision in leadership, if the people that are leading you don't create vision, they don't get the max potential out of you. Your performance isn't as great. People don't follow you if you don't have a leadership vision. So vision is so important. And then there's two thoughts I want to give as far as some guidance or some thoughts as a coach to help move you forward. One is a vision of you. So you could say like the $1 million question, or let's say stimulus package, right? So what's your stimulus package? Or what's your Jeff Bezos package? Your $1 trillion question that needs to be answered. Million's not good enough anymore. So what is your vision? Like what is your purpose? Like what is your why? Like, why are you driving forward? And are you clear on your purpose? So here's a thought. Recently I did a bunch of interviews with a great group of leaders. Some of you may be watching this video. I asked them this question. I was like, hey, so on a scale of 1 to 10, like, how clear are you on the vision for your life? The answer was like 5. The average answer is like they were stumped. I said, could you explain it to me within a couple minutes? No. And I thought, wow, like 5? Like for motivated people, that like sucks. Like 5 is like failure. Like it's not good. And yet these were pretty professional leaders. And I thought, how much more effective could they show up in their life? How much more effective could they show up in their leadership if they had clear vision? So my journey, right, I'll give you my story. Look, I was in my early 30s about 13 years ago. So I date myself, right? So now you get a gauge of where I'm at in life's journey. But, about 13 years ago, I had a good picture at that season of my life about what God had for me and my relationship with Him. But I really didn't know what expression that looked like on my day-to-day life, on my day-to-day journey. And so I got really into leadership books. Read like Maxwell, John Gordon, Covey, a book called Transformational Leadership. And what became clear is that I wasn't clear. Like I didn't have a clear vision or purpose for what made me show up each day, other than, man, I wanted to do good, love God, and be my best. And so adversity would hit, challenges would hit, and there wasn't like this North Star, is what I realized. So I put in some work, right? Like you hit the gym, you work hard, you see gains, you see results. No different in personal growth. You've got to put some work into it. So over about a period, a month and a half, I put the work in, worked and coached through it, and I came up with these power words that were really significant to me, that described why my vision, what my purpose was, what was my why. And it created clear vision. It became simple then. I was to grow and develop leaders' lives through impactful coaching, training, and education, moving towards their max potential. Those words have so much meaning in my life, and they create this like North Star effect. So during times of leadership when my performance was down and I couldn't get my team to the right mark, or hey, you had that boss who would just like sucked and you're like, when will this person get fired? Maybe you can identify with that. But in that, like each day showing up, knowing and being clear on my vision was that star. It was that place to say my clear vision was to grow and develop leaders' lives. And so when adversity hit, challenges hit, even today in my life, I have to remind myself and wake up and say, here's my purpose. Here's why God put me here. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to grow and develop leaders' lives. And if I can frame that and coach and train and educate people on how to go do that, that's a win. I'm fulfilling my purpose. My vision's clear. Stay focused on the big, and the small won't sidetrack us. So that's one big bucket, right? So are you clear on you? And maybe you should work on that this week. If you're not, if you can't nail down and grow through one vision for you, you need work there. And I'll change that up. As a coach, I won't go with the probably. You just need to do it. You just need to get to it. You need to get into action, right? You need to get into action and figure out very clearly. Do the work with yourself, with your teammate, with the coach. Get some prayer, get the great growth coach involved. But man, get clear on you. If you're not clear on you, who's going to be? Second big component, I talked about this last week, is what we also need to grow forward and to move forward is the great growth coach. My term for God. Like God Himself is what we need in terms of perspective. So the second component is self-perspective and vision, and then growing in God's perspective of what we're going through. Because there's times and seasons where things just suck, and you and your life and your vision can't see clearly how to grow through it or how to move through it. So we need a coach's perspective. We need Coach God to give us perspective. So what does that look like? So if you think about it, like a coach and a team sees the playing field from a different lens. Like he knows how the pieces of the puzzle need to be put together so you get a victory, so you get a win. And that's how coach sees it. So if we have his lens, his perspective, if we see the game film and he makes it clear, we have a better chance to move forward and not get sidetracked and not get stuck and not get derailed on little things, small things, even big things that will help us know that we're growing through those with coach's perspective. So here's some thoughts on it, right? So my journey led me to this, is that when you look at God, when you look at Coach, the first thing He did was a creative miracle. He said, let there be light. Out of the darkness, He said, let there be light. So what does that have to do with it? He created vision. The first thing He wanted us to see is there was a vision, a clear path, a perspective that He would give to move us forward to our best. That's pretty eye-opening. Then if you fast forward thousands of years, you got the player coach, right? You got the coach's son. The player coach comes to earth, Jesus Himself, and as part of His mission is to open up the eyes of the blind, cause the deaf to hear, make the lame walk and the dead to raise. So that is awesome little things of what He did on earth. And in our world today, man, those are happening. But the reality is it's not every day you're going to see in your journey in your life someone's physically eyes restored, someone like crippled walk, or someone like how many people we know in that past that are not raised from the dead. So the real purpose of vision in God's perspective is those are a metaphor of what Coach wants to do. He wants us to see clearly. He wants us to have perspective on our situation. He wants to have a God perspective, a Coach's vision of what we're going through, and our eyes to be opened up so that we can move forward with confidence. It's one of those big buckets we got to play in. So if we play in this bucket of personal vision and clarity, if we play in this bucket of getting God and the Coach's perspective, we as players are going to move forward. We're going to live our best life. We're going to make a maximum impact. We're going to drive performances in our businesses and the people we lead, which is a great result.